Rula Sayaf. So Rula made it. Her images came at 2017. Her computer was half broken, but here she is.
It's typical for computer scientists.
And
The
she's a
geek
computer
working until
scientist,
the
geek.
end, just the deadline, or maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
beyond the
pushing. You
deadline.
see, I don't
Yeah.
have any more hair because of,
Oh, is that going to be my future?
no.
Lovely.
Rula Sayaf, 400 seconds, a PhD in computer science, leading us where, I don't know. I haven't yet seen the images.
Somewhere about privacy and sensitive data and
Okay.
the challenges we face, but hopefully that would be put in a very nice and entertaining way.
Super.
So,
So let's welcome Rula while I begin to launch the system. Are you ready? Yep.
all right. So I just want to start by saying, like, privacy has been there since ever, of course. We see in this painting how privacy violation was, I mean, really deemed severe, and it was punished. That was the way to protect people from violations. The goddess here punishes the violator, and yeah, and that was it. But in nowadays, we have much more advanced ways to protect ourselves. So many technological solutions are offered for us. The problem is that the solutions are many, and the risks are many as well, that it's really, really complicated for us to know which solution to use properly. So one of the ways to be completely safe is just to hide our data, hide ourselves, not share anything, and we'd hopefully be safe. But then the problem is that we wouldn't be able then to enjoy the pleasure of using the internet and all the technology that we have nowadays. So the alternative is to have some sort of control over our data, be able to know or control who our data go to, for which reason, and who our data shouldn't be accessed by, and so on. So that is more like the approach that technologies offer these days. The problem is that some data could be very simplistic, and we could be able to identify different items. And I'm here assuming that red Smarties are sensitive. So we'd be able to simply control and protect these sensitive items. And the rest may not be as sensitive, so that the control problem is not quite complex in this case. But we notice that data is becoming more complex, and it's interrelated, interconnected. We cannot necessarily and easily separate sensitive data from not sensitive data, and so on. So that makes the problem of controlling our data even much more complex. To add to that, complexity is increasing by the fact that we are not even able to know who's monitoring us or who can access our data. So at the same time, we could have multiple parties that are monitoring us when we're accessing a website, for instance. And then for this reason, we thought, like, okay, we need probably some intelligent brains, some artificial intelligent approaches or ways of thinking to try and see how we could help people manage and control their sensitive data. These are the sensitive items that we cannot really see easily. So we decided to go to Bing and tell them, okay, give us your big data set of 200 million items, so that we would try and do some intelligent work and analyze what data is sensitive. What data is sensitive that people search for on a daily basis. And then we had access to how people manage their search history. So we were able to see what items were deleted and which items were kept in the search history. And the assumption was, of course, that if an item is deleted from the history, then it indicates some sensitivity of the item. But of course, not every item that is deleted from the history is deleted because of its sensitivity. But we stuck to this assumption, and we said if an item is deleted, then there must be some hidden sensitivity in that. So we put the data into some intelligent algorithmic machinery, and we just asked the algorithm to kindly look for the pattern of what makes data sensitive and tell us what parameters affects a search query to be deemed as sensitive or not, to be deleted or not. And we were interested actually to see whether the common knowledge that we have in general about topics that are sensitive, because general, like topics related to adult health, finance, religion are deemed sensitive. So we wanted to see if this common world knowledge would apply actually after our algorithm would tell us the pattern. So we saw that actually, yeah, the topics, certain topics are sensitive by their nature, and that is more or less what the common world knowledge says. So adult is sensitive and health is sensitive, but other items actually were deemed sensitive, and like celebrities, for instance, that was something new. We also found out that context does affect the perception of sensitivity to a very high degree. So if someone is at work, then their perception of sensitive items may vary to when they are at home, for instance. Another parameter that seems to play a significant role in perception of sensitivity is time. So if an item is searched for at night, then most probably this item is sensitive. And if it's searched for during the day or during weekdays, then most probably it's less sensitive. So that was interesting. And then I guess that's my favorite. So we see that the type of services people use seem to affect their perception of sensitivity. So those who use Facebook are not necessarily concerned with managing their sensitive data when they are compared to people using Windows Live, for instance, or other services. And another finding was that when people use, for instance, an anonymization tool or tools to manage their privacy when accessing the web, then they seem to have some sense of security and protection that they do not necessarily manage their sensitive data as one would expect. So all these parameters also contribute nicely to how the context affects sensitivity of data. But the most interesting finding is that people who work, for instance, for religion institutions, government institutions, seem to be also very, very concerned about managing their sensitivity. And with that, we just infer that sensitivity is not only limited by the, decided by the topic, but it's decided by many other features and aspects and context. And we really need to stick to the very holistic view to be able to provide proper tools.
Thank you, Rula.